Numbers part 3 of showing you how to find the formats that are hidden by are overwritten. But I can show you that you can dig them out and prove this. So let me get to here. Oh, I broke off the last video pretty quick because it went too far and I can't download it if it gets too big to keep a record of what this is. But what I'm going to do is I wanted to get through a little bit here as a lot of the editing that I'm doing. Example, what is all this blue text and why am I getting rid of it? I've said so much over every video that I can't do that anymore. So those are the reasons. Okay. So take a screenshot of that because I got to pull that down. Here, the yellow, I'm adding the text, and what do I mean by hidden formats? See this? This is what I'm looking for. And actually, it's the story. Some of my editing yet. Now, these are groupings to show that these are pieces, and I'm going to need to add words more to the text. This coloring is added text that they put in to get copyrights or to continue the copyrights for the New American Standard in 1977. But you can see these formats, and I need two major words to complete this, what is actually known as a psalm, a grouping of these as a small paragraph, grouping as a small paragraph. These are known as psalms. Now, the word serve, when I put a forward slash, I'm changing this word to this word. And when it gets like this, I want to show you in the text here, I have actually the concordance, which is not allowed anymore on the internet, and I'll explain why. I haven't found it. But what this allows me to do, whoops, it's 7 I'm looking for, is when I click on a word like attend, it shows their Strong's Concordance, so it's got different lettering for the words for those that study the Hebrew. And then down here, this is what's unique. It tells me how many times they use this word as this English word here. So how can you get to attend to be some of these words down here? Some are close, yes, but right now they use the word attend 4 times. So if I go down to the S's and see that, okay, there isn't the word serve, but they have the word performed. Okay, so they're using the word performed 6 times. Well, when you look at the text, serve is the correct word. So a lot of times what I'll do is I will say, yes, this color needs to be this color. All right. So it means that I'm changing more than what the text is actually allowing. But that's my job. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times. So look, there's nobody that knows the text better than I do. Flat out. Yeah, does it sound like I'm bragging? Yes. Our Creator made me see Him. That's why I'm here on earth. Okay. There's a lot of videos. If you check out my video called Afterlife in the description, males can visit another dimension of time and space. That path alone that's given, and it's repeatable, and yes, I know people have done that. That alone lets you know I am different than everyone you've ever heard of. Now, to be among is to live. So here, if I go to that verse, or no, that's 1820. I messed up. I need to cancel that. And I'm using it as the word live, and I don't see it here. So that's so to live, I need to change that word. Among to live. I believe this is close enough that I don't have to literally use like this where I'm completely adding a word. So that's kind of why that's still connected to that word. Let me remove these because pretty soon I'm going to get into showing you some maps. And yes, a lot of the text does that. Now here, this is the law that if you watch the last video about people approaching Moses and saying, look, because of the dead person law, and that means you're unclean for 7 days, you're supposed to divide yourself away from people. This is the law that they were explaining, but it is so buried as pieces in this text that it's surprising that I could dig it out. Here is the second story of now it's Aaron who's going to speak. No, this is where Moses is going to speak to the rock and then it's going to yield water. And see how he didn't strike the rock, come out of the water. So the thing there is they've got untruth stories in here. Now, here is a city, okay, because this part of the story needs to be shown to you as what's going on by the maps. Now here, these are my maps. I made them up. They're all copyrighted. The thing here is Moses was just striking the rock, and I believe it was pretty close to here. But what they are is they're over here at the edge of Amalek's. Edom is way over here. Okay. So when it says by the city, I think it's a city, there are reasons why I'm picking this area. One, Abraham walked this area. Two, there is a highway that goes down here that people traveled for thousands of years. Probably one of the oldest roads in the world since the Great Flooding. The thing here is this location, I believe, is where it's at. And what we're talking about is him sending out the spies to go travel the land. Okay. Now, one, I showed you Edom's and Amalek's territory. Two, they aren't kings, they're rulers. Kings have guards, have advisors, have a lot of these other things. The descendants from Noah actually live in this area. These are the 3 areas that his sons actually moved to, and their descendants own these areas. So yes, everybody in this area is tied to Noah, okay? But this city here, if I take a look at that, that's 2014. So let me find it over here real quick and 20 that I think that number that's so small. Okay. Oh, it's a sacred place in the desert. Okay. So the sacred place, and they actually have it named different names. So that's odd that this sacred place has 3 different. Why are these 2? Oh, the first part. different, okay? But it's a place. Like they named a forest or something a place. But when you look at the maps that I've done, and I've studied a lot to come up with these, with the text and where they're at, it has to be rivers. They used rivers by um, actual land structure a long time ago to say whose territory is what. And notice, let me put this up. Notice this is all Egypt, okay? This river is actually named the River of Egypt, even to today. So the thing here is this, that's would mean that Egypt owned up to that territory, and it was Egypt's river because there was hardly anybody here. There was a lot of people here. So the thing here is they use land structures. So I have to use the word rivers instead of this to place the story. And then they talk to whoever that ruler was. And like I just told you that they're brothers from Israel, here is them saying that it's your brothers from Israel. Now here they had Edom. Yes, Edom is Jacob's twin brother, but they weren't there. Okay, the story is not at the right location where Edom is at. So when they're said that was a sacred place, well, it can't be sacred until after Noah or Moses is talked to, or our Creator speaks with Moses by the mount in the burning bush. So I don't know how they come up with the word sacred. I have yet to find that text, but the object here is no, not the hardship. Now, I'm not going to go over there into the concordance to show you that I know that these are too far different, but to know our hardship, when you look at the words here and try to make sense of the story as it goes, to be reasoned out logically, I'm adding words. This word needs to be here because I just explained why Amaleks are descendants from Noah and they would know the story of Abraham, okay, and what was going on. And they would have known that, hey, some of our brothers actually went to Egypt and they ended up become slaves. So this word history has to be here. And then to fill the format, I had to add the text here. Okay, this is a double of text. I could use it as a format, but it's a doubling of text. Because this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I've got it highlighted because it's a doubling of the text. So, yeah, because sent rulers, I'm using the word rivers here. I'm pretty sure later I'm going to I guess I've got to, let me see something. Okay, that's what's going on. I made an error here. This is all being used. No, I need it cleaned up. I need these to be this color, this color, this color, this color, this color, this color. Edge is actually, I'm pretty sure it's used as a border, so I'm going to change this to this word. Okay. I had made an error. Sorry about that. I made a video before and I made a mistake. I went to the screen and I forgot to bring you back, and I don't know how long I talked with it, but I was checking on the word borders like I just did with the word rivers. So trust me, you did use the word borders for edge a few times. Um, to go to pass by, I guess I could have put a hyphen here to show that what I'm saying is the word go is being changed to pass by. And oh boy. These are the name who they went to is not being said who this person was. So it's out of the text, but it would go right here because we know Edom is not true. The story here is about Amaleks. When you know all the stories in the Bible, you will find that you use the same story, only put different names in the story. So to make sure that this one story says it all the way through correctly, the text that I'm editing. Um, Look, I've been doing this for over 30 years, or close to 30 years, in um, sometimes 15 hours a day for months on end. So, um, yes, I am really knowledgeable of the Bible. Um, Said to replied. Okay, that's pretty easy. And they're going to tell them we're going to come out with swords. Now, what is this story talking about? Well, if anybody ever read the text and understood that Moses is going to go on a hill and raise his walking stick, not a staff, but his walking stick, then the battle commences. Now, they're going to go through and tell you that he down and they were losing. Then he raised it and they would be winning. Well, I'm cutting out all that. He's just going to raise it and they're going to start battling. And this, where that text is at, it doesn't say that he sent out spies and he talked to them. So here's the text that he actually talked to them. And then I have to say that this guy said, no, they replied, and we're coming to you with swords, because that's going to go with the other story that's already been said someplace else. So that's why I know this is about Israel. And here it is, the highway. Notice the word highway is being used, and I explained the highway as this road going through this land has always been around. It's probably one of the oldest roads in the world. But this is the highway, and it has to go through the highway. And they used land structure, as I said, to do to divide the people or group of people's territory. Thus, Amalek refused Israel. And remember the story, if you've ever studied the Bible, our Creator's, because they refused him, he's going to send David, I believe. No, he's going to send Saul to go and actually wipe out Amalek. Okay. It's King Saul, by the way. So that is also needs to be here, so I know it is Amalek and not Edom, because Edom is only the king is killed off, so they don't have really a true king or a true ruler over Edom at David's time. In the story about David, if you've read it, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll get to there soon enough. Here again, I needed to place the text or another verse in here to meet the format. And I used the word mounts here. That should have been yellow. Should have. When they refused them, now they're traveling. So this is where, whoops, next one. Where's the next one? There is my next map. Okay. I guess I can't find it right now, but right here is what I'm talking about. That they battled, but they couldn't beat them to go through the land. So they have to now go this route to Edom. Okay. And this is where they're going to meet right here. Moses's father-in-law is going to come and meet him here. At this time, they needed a water supply. So that's why I've got it traveling. And when you blow up the geographical of the maps, you'll find that this is I believe, the flattest route that they could travel without going up and over hills. They'd be going around them, that they would be traveling this area here. But now the story is heading over to here. Now we are talking about Edom. Okay. It came to the mount and the land for Esau's. So, but they have to be turned away from the area to now get to here. And it is a mount. So the word mount, now I know, is Esau. Okay, because if they turn from there, they got to go around. And if anybody knows the text, they got to come through from the west or the east side of the Jordan to get into the promised land. So that's why these words are here in the text. Now we're jumping back to where Abraham is going to take him up to a mount on a hill for all the people to see. So some of these aren't able to be done. So that's why I'm saying this is somewhere, probably not to the tip top, but probably up the side so everybody can see what's going on. Because our Creator is going to, I don't know if no, I don't have that right now. But now we're back over there and going to go up, because it's not a mount, it's a hill. And by their border again, the water that you know about, the land for Amalek's not Edom. Aaron is dying. Our Creator is saying he's dying. Now, Aaron, it had Aaron will die here. Or Aaron, he will be gathered to his fathers, which means that he is dying or going to die. So the thing here is I'm adding the word dying, and then he'll be gathered to his forefathers, which is, they all know that they descended into the earth, because when you bury the body, the soul is supposed to go down into the earth, or the body dies, but the soul descends down into a place. Our Creator didn't just define it as another dimension of time and space for the people at that time. So they related it to this dimension of time and space as a place of darkness in the abyss. Our Creator defines the word abyss when he says to Cain that your brother Abel is calling to me from the abyss. So now it's kind of, I put the word top because I didn't want to put in the side of the hill, but and then he's going to take Eleazar, his Aaron's son, and make him the high priest. He's going to then not strip but remove Aaron's robe, not garments, but robes. High priest is Aaron, and he's got his robes already. So it's just not garments. They have to be, people would recognize him because he's wearing these. They're still traveling, but he's the high priest. So it has to be robe. And then at the hilltop, in the sight of all, which is really everyone. I like the word everyone over all. Trying to separate that word. All means, I'm trying to make sure every word means exactly what it means and not getting over many descriptions of one word to mean many different things. Again, robe, and put it on Eleazar, and Aaron died. Okay, so now we have Eleazar as the high priest. Okay. Now here, you set out to the mount, whatever this is, where this is at, by the Red Sea, and go around the land of Edom. Now that doesn't make any sense at all once you understand the layout. What happened to all the Sinai? What happened to that? Go to the Red Sea and then around the land of Edom? Go around the land of Edom? No, that's a blatant lie. I'm just showing you sometimes in the text where it's absolutely oversalted. People are given to like the sugared words in the Bible, and that's why people believe the text that there is a heaven and we have a creator. I'm telling you, our creator made me see him, and I don't have a belief. Okay. Now, journey to traveled, wasteland as desert. The word wasteland and the word desert. The wasteland can mean it's a desert, but the object is I don't want to give it a second name. When you look on the maps and you see Jordan in this area and you look out, they've got pictures that show you that it's pretty barren, okay? And it's these rolling hills, kind of small rolling hills, leading downward, that you can tell that nobody's living there because it's a wasteland, okay? But it's also not as hot as a desert. But to keep the text so people have an idea of saying just a desert, yeah, that's what I want in the text. So I don't want for this one area to be called different than the word that I'm using desert for. Now they're going to go battle Moab. So now that I'm going to have to use two maps, but this one again, they're here, and then they have traveled. They've already visited his father-in-law, and because they're brothers, they allowed them to pass through. Now they're here at another border for Moab. Now, this is pretty much the best area of the description of the text. I know when you go looking for maps, my Moab is not their Moab. Well, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. They're wrong. I am right. The thing here is when it comes to Ammon, in the text is going to show us that it's kind of divided right here. This is a mount and this is a mount, okay? Or higher parts of the mount. Oh, let me see here. Let me bring up this text. Oh, I got elevation of Jordan. Okay, now see how Jordan, okay, here's a real good picture. The land of Jordan is so high that these can't be called mountains. So there's no such thing as mountains as the way they would know what a mountain was at that time. We might call them mountains today, but at that time, these were known as a hill country because you could look down on it, okay, from this area here. And this is the Jordan. Now, up here, let's see. What did I have here? Okay, there it is. I found a picture here, and you can see these are higher peaks of the mountain. Okay, and what I'm pointing to right now is this area and this area. Now see how they have this as Ammon's, and they've got Moab down here, and then they got Edom way down here. Well, that's just not correct. The correct answer by the text is this much is Edom's, and this much is Moab's, and that is Ammon, because these mounds were controlled by Ammon, and we're going to specifically speak in the text where they went to, and they battled them as far as Amon's Mount, okay? But they're going to travel through here. Now, back to the text. This is Moab, and it has to be because the text is describing this place, and it's to the Jordan and the lake. Now, again, to the Jordan and the lake, okay? To the Jordan and lake. So I know it has to have partial lake and it has to have the partial river, okay? And I made sure that that's in the text when I put that there, just to be more descriptive than a lot of the text. Now it says it's got Amorites here in Moab, and then Moab after Amorites. Amorites are Amon's. The thing here is they're out of order. You just seen it. We all know Moab is first, so they have to go fight Moab first. So that's why this is put this in this order, and then we'll get to Amon's. But they border Ammon. Okay, that's what's needed in the correction of the names. Now here, what I'm doing is I'm taking this here, and I'm moving it to here for it to read correctly. Again, this word here is going to be a city that they say that doesn't, no. There's no way to prove exactly this is the spot because we're talking about land structures needing to tell you the territory, not a city. Okay. So it was at the bottom of the mount and to the, not this place, but the rivers to the valley. Okay. And the land, and this is the land for Moab that's being described here. So when I'm telling you that what I'm looking at is from these rivers to the mount that borders for Ammon, ta-da, this is how this is gotten here. Now, a lot of this knowledge comes from our Creator's hidden formats and me having to substitute words all over the place. Example, these names don't really exist, you know. I mean, land structure is how they divided their areas up. And here it's not a king again, but this guy is going to be the ruler. The word king has a palace. He has guards. So I can't use the word king for this guy here that's owns what? Let me see here. Pull this map up and say, well, Moab's going to be down here, but here's 60 miles. This is all desert here. This is desert, okay, or wasteland. But they lived along this little area. You can see that this is not a kingdom. People aren't rushing there to trade. There's not enough to really exist for a multitude of people. So it's a ruler. He's a ruler over this area. But they want to pass through Moab, and they're talking about not drinking the water. Will travel on the highway. Now, this highway, when I showed you the last one here, or told you that there's one here, there has to be one on this side of the Jordan. So I have this drawn, and Damascus is up here, so they could travel like through here to come down. It would have been the quickest way to get to Egypt. So that's why this is drawn this way. So I even laid out the roads that I believe that they would have traveled, the quickest, flattest way to travel. So this is the highway on that side, okay? And that permit did not allow So the thing here is I think that's close enough to say don't need that to be mentioned. Um, add the word able men to battle against us. Now, let's see what time it is. 35. Okay, I gotta watch the time. So, okay, this is very important. Knives. Slaves did not have swords, okay? They were traveling through the Sinai. There was no way that they were being able to grab materials to make swords. Could they had shaped their knives into spears with sticks with knives on them? Yes, but they did not have swords. Slaves did not have swords. They have to fight and overtake people and then take their weapons and start gathering to have swords. So the correct word at this time is knives. Okay. Now I don't have them with spears, but it's knives. So they also could have made some of their shields out of bronze. Bronze is very flexible at that time. It can be reused and hammered out. It's not the strongest at this time because if you bang on it a few times, it would have really not really done its job for a long time. So this would be them getting uh, correct shields, correct swords, but at this time, this is their really first true out and outright battle where they wiped out people. So they had to use the so knives is the correct word at this time. Very important, and I wanted you to make sure that you understand why. Um, now here, the word here, this is the river. Okay, and that's going to come up next time in the video, but this is that river. Okay, so right now they're at this river. They fought and they pushed them back, these guys out when they did this, because there's too many stories of them here. And then um, Balak is going to be the ruler of Ammon's, and he's going to bring Balaam out, and from this mount, they're going to be overlook all these people, and then they came out and battled. But the object here is the story is now going to change to Ammon. They're going to battle, okay? But that's going to be the name of the river. And that's very important because I'm going to put that word in the next videos. And then we battled with them. It's got the word fought against them down here. So putting the word battle here is correct to make the format. And then it's going to be again said because we took over their land as far as the rivers. Yep, I can do that one more time. These are the rivers that I'm speaking about, okay? And I only have the major rivers. So it's not like I'm going to show every little offshoot or tribute to all the little streams going to these. These are the major ones that were, like I said, descriptive enough that everybody knew what it meant and what they were talking about, borders or here or there, that these land structures are there. Notice all of a sudden they're starting to put a female deity into the text, her villages. So just to let you know that all of a sudden a female deity. There is no such thing as Mother Nature. Now here it's got, I'm going to go over this in the next video, but I'll tell you right now, there is no Bashan. So how can there be a king of Bashan?